Hi, Chris Mather back with you with the It's About the Story series. And this is module two, where we'll talk about what VCs want to see in an investment presentation from a company. Okay, so what do VCs want to see in a company or from an investment presentation? Well, I believe that it's in four areas: great product, great market, great business model, great team. And we're going to go into those each individually. Now, recognize a couple things. First is that this may not be the order of how you present to them. And we'll go over how you do that a little bit later. But also, everything that I'm going to talk about may not fit into your individual particular story of your company. The fact that if you look at my bullets in the next few slides, it's unlikely that you're going to hit every one of those. But this is the kind of stuff that the VCs would like to see and should be sprinkled throughout your presentation so that it's compelling. So let's start with great product. I had the chance to work with an organization called Jumpstart, and we were an entrepreneurial development organization who not only coached companies, but we also had money to invest. And we thought and talked in terms of secret sauce. What do you have that's unique, that makes you different and makes you solve problems better for a customer? Because really, they want to know, VCs want to know that you're uniquely solving a customer problem. I'll talk about business model a little bit later because it's now a large category. But they want to, if you can have compelling economics, and not everybody does, but you can say this product really can turn a return on investment for a company really, really quickly. It's very strong. Not everybody has that. In some cases, technology advantages really matter. It matters less in software, but in things like medical devices, electronics, and energy, it can matter a lot. So VCs do like to know what's that kind of underlying technology. They want to hear about it in an understandable way, but they do care about it. If you can get a quick path to high valuation, they love it. They want to see the path to valuation increase because that's why they're investing. But some VCs will say, "Oh, well, we're never going to do a quick flip. That's not us." Trust me, if they see a great opportunity within a year or 2 years after investing in your company, they're going to take the opportunity. And that's not a bad thing because you're all going to make money in that case. But quick path to high valuation can work. And certainly, protectable intellectual property goes with those areas like electronics, energy, semiconductors, and medical devices and pharma, where you really want to protect your IP. So the next area is they want to know that you have a great market opportunity. Generally, the hurdle rate from VCs seems to be about $1 billion. I don't necessarily agree that that's the right one, but they don't really necessarily care what I think. I would rather see a great opportunity in a $500 million market than a marginal opportunity in $1 billion market. But note that $1 billion seems to be the hurdle rate. Typically, your market opportunity has to fit an investment profile. Most VCs either have a lot of little divisions where they'll have one group that does software, another group that does medical, another group that does energy, or you will find that smaller VCs focus on one or two different areas. So you've got to fit their profile. So when I did my last company, we were a semiconductor company. I only spoke with VCs who either were focused on the semiconductor industry or had a group that did that for them. And the thing they care most about is TAM, total available market, which is different than total addressable market. It has to be calculated in an incredible way. But the way to think about TAM, and people get this wrong a lot, you really need to think about if you were completely successful and you got every single customer in the United States and the rest of the world, and they all bought from you, then what would your company size be? Now, does anybody ever get to a complete 100% total available market? No, no company's ever gotten there. Some have gotten close. For a while, Tesla was dominant in the electric vehicle industry. They still are. They're still number one, but they're not as dominant as they were. Hewlett Packard was there uh, in laser printers for a long time. And Uber could have been there, but Lyft really saw the opportunity and jumped in really fast. But you've got to that's what they care about, is the total available market. If you can show them the other things like serviceable market that says how well you understand the market and how you go after the customer, that's also awesome. But they really care about knowing the market has a certain size. And they want to know that you have a business model that can access it, which we'll talk about in a second. And VCs and other VC type investors love hot markets, the ability to ride waves, so to speak. So the next one is great business model. And when I worked at Jumpstart, as I mentioned, uh, that wasn't one of our three big ones. But since then, I've kind of seen so many cases where business model really have helped, but more often, unfortunately, have hurt companies. They want to know, how do you make money? How does the customer purchase? Is it a recurring business model, which you're probably aware that recurring business models where you're charging people monthly, like you do for uh, uh, your Netflix subscription, or like you do for almost every piece of software. Microsoft only seems to basically rent you software. You don't buy software from them anymore. Some products have to be a one-time purchase. I won't go into all those, but if you have a big test and measurement instrument, you're not going to be doing that on a monthly basis. But they want to know that there's a business model of how you get there. How do you sell to them, and how does the customer purchase? If there's revenue trails where you're going to get kind of recurring revenue, so in addition to subscriptions, you have kind of the razor and blade model. That's great. And that business model has to make sense to the investor. Because when I've seen discussions, and I've been in the discussions after somebody presents to an investment group, if one person doesn't like your business model, you're in trouble. And the only way you can come back from that is if somebody else says, no, I love their business model and this is how they'll do it. So they're standing up as a supporter for you. If you don't have that, as soon as that one person starts to question it, it's really going in the wrong way. So you really want to make sure that you hit that. And a lot of early stage entrepreneurs don't even think about this because they're too far away, and that's really a problem. And then the last one, as you might expect, is a great team. And that matters a lot. You want to know that they want to know that you have what's called domain expertise, that you understand the area that you play in, because they probably don't understand it at the level that you do. If you've had a success in growing companies, not everybody has this. That is something you definitely want to play up. Often investors care about things like your credentials and you know, what schools you went to. Do you have an MBA? I once had an entrepreneur I worked with who was kind of embarrassed. He had an MBA from a great school, and he said, "Well, it sounds like I'm bragging." And what I said to him is, "You need to be bragging, especially when you talk about your team. If you don't brag about it, nobody else will for you." They also will care that you are willing to add staff, because you probably don't have the staff that you need in all areas, and that's usually one of the reasons why you need investment. And the last one I know is tough for a lot of you founders, but it's not likely that you're going to be the long-term CEO. Now, it's not that investors aren't open to that, because they always seem to be open to it, but it often there's the case that they've seen that the CEO runs out of the gas for the right stuff. He or she was the right person to start the company, but maybe doesn't know enough about marketing to get it to the next level. There's a lot of things like that. At my last company, I was a brought-in CEO. I knew the founder well from other things, so he at least knew me. But I came in, and it was a stipulation of our second round of funding from the investor that I come on as the CEO. That's very, very common. So expect that. One of the things that you see investors use a lot is an interesting horse race kind of analogy. And it's the horse. If you're in a typical horse race, you got the horse, you got the jockey, and you got the race they're playing. And so is the race something, is it a big race? Does it matter? And then how fast is the horse? And then how skilled is the jockey? And that relates to the horse is the product in the business model, the jockey is the team, and the race is the market. You playing in a market that matters. And it's been a great analogy. And sometimes I do see a lot of investors and investment groups kind of say, well, it's all about the team. It's really the team. It isn't just the team. Because if you show me a slow horse with a great jockey, an awesome jockey, you know what I'll show you? I'll show you a slow horse. So you really have to have it all. It all matters, and that really has to be put together. You have to have the horse plus the jockey plus the race, and that's what you have to have in there to be able to put together a presentation that's compelling to VC type investors. So that's the end of module 2. And so now we've finished that. The next module Module 3 starts using the it's about the story concepts to create your presentation. And the next one after that is what order works, which is always interesting. And so with that, I will go to another commercial about Perfect Pitch. I won't go into the detail because you probably heard this in the last module, but it's a great service that is done 100% remotely at reasonable prices, and it really can help you get your presentation to a place where you want to be. And if you like It's About the Story and you think you might watch some more of it, it'd be awesome if you'd subscribe and give us a thumbs up. So with that, thank you, and hope to see you in Module 3.